Hi, I'm Sean Kokoska, and today we're going to review the 20-point buyer presentation. Now, the goals of the 20-point buyer presentation are first to establish rapport and gain client loyalty. See, through education comes trust. Through trust comes their business, as well as their repeat and referral business. Now, we're going to show our clients fewer homes before they decide to buy. Through future pacing, as well as setting expectations, they're going to make realistic offers. They're not going to blow the deal up during the inspection period because the expectation will have been set. Now, additionally, we're going to get the buyer agency contract signed every time you choose to have it signed. We're going to teach them the rules of the game. So in essence, they can be a good buyer. We can teach them how to negotiate, how to save time through the process. Right? See, we do this every day of our lives, and yet these people purchase a home on average once, maybe every 5 to 7 years, and yet we allow them to tell us how to run our business. Well, we're going to take control today. Now, prior to meeting your customers, they're going to come into your office, and the first person they're going to see is your call coordinator or the director of first impressions. You should instruct the director of first impressions to hand your clients a clipboard. Now, on this clipboard is your new buyer survey, the soft sell buyer agency agreement, as well as the are you an A, B, or C buyer that really lets them rate their own motivation. Now, once they're completed with these forms, they turn it back into the director of first impressions, and the director of first impressions brings it back to you, and you get to analyze this information before you've ever met them face to face. So frankly, you'll know more about this individual than any other real estate broker in your market. Let's get started. Now, before we jump right into the buyer presentation with our prospects, what we're going to do is we're going to use the FORD technique, which stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. See, our goal is to establish rapport and get to know these people just a little bit. See, if you jump right into business, if you're that D personality and you get right to the bottom line, well, they're just going to feel like all you want is their checkbook. So, hi, thank you guys for coming in. I just want to let you know that I have a great deal of respect for your investment of time, and I've got several goals here. Now, my first goal is, of course, to understand exactly what you guys are looking for, okay? So if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
I would say we're looking for the perfect school district, a neighborhood with the perfect school district and a very nice community feel.
Okay, and how many are in your family?
We just have one.
We have one right now, and we'd like to be settled in the new house before she's school age.
Gotcha, and what do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney.
You're an attorney, good for you, fantastic. And do you work outside the home?
Not right now.
All right, good for you. That's fun to stay home with the kids, no doubt.
Yes.
All right, good. And what do you guys do for fun? I'm curious.
We love the lake.
Oh yeah?
Love the lake.
Water skiers?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That's great family time too, isn't it? Oh, good for you guys. All right, so once we've established a rapport and we feel that we've made a connection with them, what we're after here is some commonality. See, we want to identify to them and their personality styles. All right, then we're going to start into the presentation. So let's get started with that. All right, so as you see up here on the screen, kind of an exciting statement there. It says, we're buying a home, right? All right, perfect. Now, as we go through this little presentation, I'm just going to be clicking through the slides, and you guys are going to fill in the blanks right along with me. See, I find that when you fill in the blanks and you're actually writing it down, then you're going to remember more of what you learned with me today, all right? My goal, by the way, is to educate you, all right? Educate you to the point that you feel really comfortable in making a buying decision. Now, you being an attorney, certainly, you understand the paperwork, and good for you, that's fantastic. So this should be a breeze, all right? So go ahead and fill in the blanks as we get started here. And first, I want to talk to you about the differences between a salesperson and a consultant. See, go ahead and fill in the blank right now that says consultant right there. Salesperson versus consultant. See, you guys don't like to be high pressured into making a buying decision, do you? No. See, nobody does. See, at the Kokoska Group, we have fully committed to the consultative approach to selling real estate, which means that I'm going to present you with the options. You guys are going to make an educated decision. Fair enough? All right, good deal. Now, the next point I want to bring up is buyer's market versus seller's market. Do you understand the difference?
We think we do.
I've heard of it.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Now, because you're in that 600,000 price range, of course, it's a pretty strong buyer's market because that upper end is a little softer than the lower end. Now, if you're looking for a home at 200,000, it would be a very strong seller's market. Does that make sense?
Certainly.
All right. The next thing we're going to discuss is the average list price to sales price ratio in the market currently at that $600,000 price point. Okay, so the average list price to sales price ratio is 96.3, which means this is what the seller's asking, and here's what they received, and it's 96.3% of their original request price, right? So let's do some math real quick. So at $600,000, when we multiply that out at 96.3%, we come up with a grand total of $577,800, which is what the seller is negotiating to on average, okay? So I have a couple of questions for you here, all right? See, the reason I share this information with you now is that the media has certainly told us that it's a very strong buyer's market, right? And we've heard stories from our friends, and frankly, understanding the averages, I'd rather turn you down now than disappoint you later if you think you could come in and offer $200,000 less than the request price and actually expect to get it. Is that okay with you guys?
Makes sense.
All right, so I've got a pretty direct question for you now. And that is, if we found that perfect home, the one that is ideal for your family, and I'm certain we will, and the seller is only willing to negotiate down to that $577,800, is that going to be okay with you guys?
Certainly. I mean,
Sounds like that's the way it is.
that's
Yeah.
the way it works.
Well, these are the averages, no doubt. In fact, listing inventory right now is up 12% from the same time last year, so go ahead and fill in those blanks there. So when inventory is up, what happens to demand?
It goes down.
Yeah, demand goes down. And when demand goes down, what happens to prices?
Then the price has got to go down too.
Yeah, the prices can come down. So I have to commend you guys for your
good,
timing
right?
of getting into the market, right?
Okay.
Because it's my job and my goal is to beat the seller up on the request price and get you the very best deal. And that is what you guys want,
We
right?
do want a
Certainly.
good deal.
Perfect. Now the next thing we're going to discuss is becoming pre-approved for your financing. And I'm going to outline the benefits to you as buyers. So go ahead and fill in the blank benefit to you as the buyer for being pre-approved. Now, when we talked on the phone, you told me that you really wanted to find the home before you got the financing in place because you're really confident that you can qualify. Now, I certainly understand your position because this generally isn't the most fun process in the world,
That
right?
paperwork.
Right. So let me explain, though, from a seller's perspective, and let me just put you in the seller's shoes just for a moment. So let's assume that you were just relocated to Montana. Right? You just found out from your employer, yet you need to be there in 3 weeks. So the first thing that you do, right, the first thing that you do is you call your real estate broker and say, I need to sell my home, I need to sell it now. So the very next day your home's on the market and you've listed it below fair market value because you need a quick sale, right?
Yeah.
Now, the market realizes what a great deal this is, and the first day on the market you receive 2 offers. Now the first one is for $2,000 less than you're requesting, which is okay with you, right? Yet it's a cash offer, all cash,
Good.
right?
Cash is
Now the second offer, these people really want it, right? So they offered $2,000 more than your request price, yet they haven't been to see a lender yet, right? And even their real estate broker doesn't know if they can qualify,
Doesn't
right.
sound
Sounds so.
safe.
right? So which deal are you going to take?
I'm going to take the cash.
first one.
Definitely
well,
the
of,
first one.
Of course, and most people would. See, in essence, and go ahead and fill in this blank, by being pre-approved for your financing, in essence, it turns you into a cash buyer, right? It gives you, it saves you money, and it gives you leverage in a multiple offer situation. And here's the best part, though, is it gives you and I the confidence knowing that every home that I show you, you can just buy. Doesn't that feel great?
Definitely.
We just
No
need
doubt
one.
about it.
We just need one right now. This is true. This
Right,
is
no
true.
doubt about it. So at this point, with your permission, I'm going to just walk down the hall and grab my lender. He's going to come in and spend about 5 minutes with you guys to fill out the 1003, pull credit report, and give you the thumbs up that you're ready to go. Fair enough?
That sounds like what we need to do.
Definitely.
All right, good job, guys. Now at this point, I've introduced the lender. I'm going to excuse myself from the conversation because I believe that it's the lender's job to qualify them. It's not my job as a real estate broker. In fact, if I spent all of my time keeping up with the current loan programs and the challenges that that industry is having, well, boy, I wouldn't be the expert in the market anymore, would I? So I introduced the lender, and I excused myself to go pull up properties based on what they completed on the new buyer survey and what their needs are. So I'll make myself busy as the lender gets them approved for their financing. The lender completes the meeting and comes out and gives me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If it's a thumbs down, I'm still going to complete the presentation because through education comes trust, and through trust comes their business. It might not be today, yet it will be at some point in the very near future, and we get them on the right track to being able to qualify. And in this situation, we got a thumbs up, so we're ready to go. Now, the next thing we're going to discuss, you guys, is buyer agency, and I want you to fill in the blank. See, 100% of my clients choose buyer agency. Now, the reason for that is because they understand the benefits and the added value of giving me the leverage I need to get you the very best deal, okay? As we talked about some averages, the average list price to sales price ratio in this price point is 96.3%. Now, I've tracked my averages over the last couple of years, and you can see that my average is 94.8%. So that's a difference of 1.5% more than I'm going to save you than what the average agent in today's market is. In fact, let's do some quick math. 600,000 times 1.5% is $9,000, right? So it's $9,000 that I'm going to save you over and beyond what the average agent is doing in today's world. All right? Now, all I do is work. Yeah, right, no doubt. So all I do is work with buyers. So I'm able to see over 200 homes per month, and I know the market better than anybody, okay? So when I get that picture in my mind of exactly what you guys are looking for, I should be able to take you right to it. All right? Now, one of the tools that I use in order to make certain that nothing slips through the cracks, meaning that that perfect home doesn't come on the market and go under contract before you know about it, is our buyer instant notification system. So I'm going to input your criteria into the computer system, and every day if there's a new listing that hits the market, it's immediately going to be emailed to you. It's also going to be emailed to me, and then I'll call you to see if it's something you want to see the inside of. So we've all heard the expression, the early bird gets the worm, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so the best part about buyer agency is that I get to answer you in a paragraph instead of a sentence. So let me tell you what I mean by that. See if it's a divorce situation or a relocation or pre-foreclosure. As a buyer's agent, I'm contractually obligated to find out as much information as I can about the seller situation. And I know that you guys are going to agree with this statement. Information is power in negotiations, right?
Very true.
All right.
Very true.
Fantastic. So the next step in the process is talk about, the multiple listing service, the internet listings that you guys are seeing on Realtor.com, and how does this process really work? See, all of my fees are paid for by the seller, right? Now, all brokers have access to the same information, and the biggest difference in brokers is the speed in which they get you that information. And because I specialize in working with buyers, I get to see over 200 homes per month, so I know the market better than anybody, right? So when that perfect home becomes available, I should be able to take you guys right to it. All right, next we're going to talk about for sale by owners, right? Many buyers feel that they can go in and negotiate a better deal with a for sale by owner, and I can certainly understand that.
They've heard of that.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I want you to fill in this blank real quick. I need you to call me first if you see a sign in the yard or an ad on Craigslist. And let me tell you the reasons why. See, for sale by owners also will pay my commission. Of course, I'm going to call them first, negotiate my fee for service, give you the representation, and I know you understand this, the benefits of that, right? And they're going to pay my fee. You don't pay me a darn thing, right? See, either they hire an attorney to draft the contract or they hire a real estate broker to draft the contract, and certainly nothing against you, Sean. However, attorneys charge by the what?
Hour.
By the hour. No doubt about it. They charge by the hour. So let me tell you a story about a client that I was working with recently, just a couple of months ago. In fact, I helped them purchase a home, and they thought they were doing the right thing. They saw a for sale by owner sign, and they thought they could go in and get a better deal because nobody had to pay a commission, right? So they fell in love with this for sale by owner property, and they ended up going to an attorney to draft the contract for them. And of course, the reason for that is because it's the largest transaction of their life, right? So they wanted to have representation to make sure everything was done correctly. Now, unfortunately, a couple of weeks prior to the closing, the deal unraveled, right? And not only did they not get the home that they wanted, that they fell in love with, they also got stuck with a $3,500 attorney's bill, which set them back a few months in establishing their goal of purchasing a home, right?
We don't want
So-
that to happen.
No, we don't.
So I'm commission-based, which means that I only get paid when you close on the property that you fall in love with, okay? So when you see that for sale by owner, can you call me first?
Yes.
Fantastic.
We'll do that.
We
Thank you very
definitely
much.
want to have
All right.
representation.
Next, let's talk about new home construction. And of course, the builder pays all of my fees as well. It's part of their marketing budget, and real estate brokers sell 70% of new homes out there, and they love working with the real estate community, okay? Now I'm gonna give you some open house guest passes, all right? Now this open house guest pass, as you can see, is a business card size, right? On the front it says open house guest pass, and on the back it says, I'm exclusively represented by Sean Kokoska at the Kokoska Group. Any questions about my home buying needs should be directed to Sean at this phone number. Now here's the benefit. Go ahead and fill in the blanks. See, when you use that on-site salesperson or the real estate broker holding the open house is going to call me and not
They're not
you,
gonna budge
right?
out. Yes,
that
And
makes
you don't
sense.
want every real estate broker in Denver calling you, right?
No, I want
No,
to work
thank
with
you.
you.
Right. Now, the benefit to you is representation, of course. And keep in mind that on-site sales agent or the real estate broker holding the open house, well, they represent the seller, right? And I, of course, would represent you as the buyer. Yes. So next, let's talk a little bit about shopping for your home. Now this is the fun part, right? This is a really fun process. So go ahead and turn the page over and let's fill in some more blanks. Now when we're shopping for your home, I want you to fill in the blank. The average buyer looks at 5 homes before finding the right one. Now this might be a little bit less than what you're used to or what you've heard from your friends and that sort of thing. However, because I specialize in working with buyers, and once I get that picture in my mind of exactly what you're looking for, I should be able to take you right to it.
That sounds great.
And you guys do want to see the best homes first, don't you?
Absolutely.
Well,
Of course, and so I'm going to save you time throughout this process. Now, I always tell my clients this, don't be surprised if the very first home I show you is the one that you want to buy. And the reason for that, again, is because once I get that picture in my mind of exactly what you guys are looking for, because I get to see over 200 homes every single month, chances are I may have even already seen the home that you guys are interested in purchasing. All right? So next, see, the most important key to finding that home is your feedback. So when we get inside these properties, just open up with me. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I certainly don't live there, and I definitely didn't decorate it, okay? So just let me know what you guys are thinking, all right? And based on your feedback, I learn more of what you're looking for based on what you don't like versus what you do like. Fair enough?
Makes sense.
All right, perfect. So the next step in the process is the purchase contract. Once we find that home, we're going to be submitting an offer. So I'm going to go through this entire contract with you right now so that we can move quickly once we find the perfect home, right? So I want you to get comfortable with this form, all right? Get really comfortable with it so when we find the right home, we can move quickly. Just go ahead and fill in the blanks. Move quickly. There you go. Perfect. And then additionally, along with that offer, we're going to submit earnest money, an earnest money check. Now the amount of the earnest money check will be approximately 2% of the price. And you'll see here it says the offer will be cashed. Can you just initial that for me right there? Just so you understand, it will be deposited within 24 hours after the offer is accepted, okay? All right, now I say 2%. If we fall in love with the property and there's a multiple offer situation, I'm going to encourage you to increase that earnest money deposit, okay? The reason being is if we come in $50,000 less or $30,000 less, and we already know what the averages are, right? If we come in under that average, well, we need to show something in the offer that's going to give us leverage, right? So I know you guys are planning on putting 20% down, right? So, I mean, if you fall in love with the property and you want to really beat the seller up on the price, why not increase the earnest money to say 10%, 15%, right? Just to give us the leverage we need. And then of course, it'll be my job to make certain that this contract is written to where that earnest money is always protected.
Okay.
All right? All right, so let's move on to the next step. Let's talk about the inspection. See, once we find the home, get it under contract, the very next step is to complete a home inspection. Now, the inspection is for major items only. Perfect. Meaning roof, plumbing, structure, safety type issues, right? It's not for, you know, the carpets are dirty, I want a carpet allowance. Does that make sense? See, I've seen so many great couples just like yourselves lose out on the perfect home because they choose to step over dollars to pick up nickels. What I mean by that is that you know, if I'm able to negotiate a very good deal on the property, generally speaking, we can beat the seller up on the request price, or we can beat them up on inspection items, and it's difficult to do both, right? So when I get you under contract and we've really done a good job of negotiating with the seller, chances are the deal might blow up if we ask for too many little things. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
All right. Now, the reason that we do this is because we've all had those deals blow up over minor little inspection items, like, oh, well, the linoleum's coming up in the corner, or the tile's loose, right? The inspection is not for that. And when we future pace and we set an expectation in the buyer's mind of what it is that they're supposed to do, well, then the deal stays together. Now, the next step we're going to talk about is the appraisal. So we've got the home under contract. Okay, we've completed the inspection. Now it's time to order the appraisal of the property, okay? Now the cost of the appraisal is paid for by the buyer, and generally speaking, it's around $350, okay? Now the best part about the appraisal is that you won't overpay for the property. The way that I'm gonna write the contract, the appraisal provision will apply, and let's assume that we go under contract at $600,000 on a property, and the seller, or the appraiser brings it in at $575,000. Right? The way that we've written the contract, the seller has to adjust their price down to the appraised value, or you can terminate the contract and get your earnest money back, okay?
That
All right,
sounds good.
so when do you pay? You've already met the lender, obviously, right? So you can pay right now, which would save you yet another trip back over to the office. Have you brought your checkbook today?
Yes.
All right, so you can pay right now, you can pay later. What would you choose to do?
Pay the money. Get it
All
going.
right, fantastic. Now the reason that we do this, it's a trial close. See, if they're going to get their checkbook out and write a check for the appraisal, well then we know we've already got a buyer, right? because they understand that 100% of our clients choose buyer agency, and he's ready to write a check for the appraisal. So let's move on to the next step. Let's talk about loan approval. See, there's a difference between pre-approved, which is what you are today, and full loan commitment, right? So go ahead and fill in full loan commitment. Perfect. And once you've got full loan commitment, well, really you have a reason to celebrate, because that's generally speaking the last contingency of any contract, right?
I can't wait to
Good,
be
good.
there.
All right.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about the closing and what's going to transpire. Have you ever attended a real estate closing before?
It's been a few years.
A few years. Okay, fantastic. Well, as you know, there's going to be hundreds of documents flying around. And you guys, I've attended thousands of real estate closings, and I want you to feel comfortable. If there's something you shouldn't be signing, and I know you being an attorney, you know how this goes. If there's something you shouldn't be signing, I will stop the closing. I will pull you out of the closing room, and we'll address the issues, okay? Now, this next segment has to do with dealing with a team of individuals to help them with their transaction. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, I'm an individual agent. I don't have a team, yet you do. You have your title company, you have your inspection company, right? You have the various individuals in your office that assist you, from the MCA to your broker to all of the other agents within your office. So you do have a team, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. So here we go. So let's talk about the benefits of working with our team, okay? So you're always working with a specialist. Now the benefits to you are knowledge, availability, and communication. Perfect, you're doing a great job. All right, next. See, this is what the traditional realtor model looks like, right? Where the real estate broker is kind of the center of the universe. And you can see all of the balls that they're juggling, from attending closings to showing homes to putting signs in the yard, right? Now, at the Kokoska Group, we've taken you as the client and put you the center of the universe, right? And we've surrounded you with a team of specialists that really make your lives a lot easier. All right, now I want to outline our goals in the transaction as I see it, okay? Number one is to get you the very best price possible. Okay. We want to get you to the closing table with the fewest amount of hassles possible as well, and definitely do it within the time frame that you guys desire. Now, based on the form that you filled out, you said that you want to be moved into your new home in 3 months. Is that right?
That is correct.
Good for you. And,
Exactly.
and you guys are aware that it may take us up to a couple of weeks to actually get you under contract on a property, and the general escrow period is about 45 days or thereabouts, right? All right, so we better get moving on this quickly,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All right? Now, what happens if we can close on a property inside of 60 days? Would that work for you?
We can make it happen.
Fantastic. All right, I love to hear that. Now let's talk about a couple of other things. Now, referrals are the lifeblood of our business, right? Meaning that I don't make my living off of just selling you a house. I make my living off of making sure that you guys are so happy that you're going to pick up the phone and call me anytime you have a friend or a family member who's thinking about buying or selling or investing in real estate. So who do you guys know right now that's thinking about buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate?
Well, I can't think of anybody right now.
Okay, well, thank you for taking a moment to think about that. Now, when you think about this, I want you to think about people from work or friends, school, church, maybe even your Twitter account, right, or Facebook. And when you do think of somebody, will you call me?
Sure.
All right. Now, periodically, and I just want to make sure that you understand and that you'll give me permission to do this, okay? Periodically, I'm just going to call you guys and ask you, who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling real estate? Because what I find is that when you get into the market and you start looking for a home, well, all of a sudden you find out your cousin's looking for a home, your aunt and uncle are looking for a home. Does that make sense?
It does.
So would it be okay with you guys if I asked you in the future for referrals?
I hope so.
Yes, no problem.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. So let's talk about the added value that we bring to the table. You know, added value to me is over and beyond the normal real estate transaction. So we have a moving truck that you guys can use anytime you would like, whether it's when you're moving or when you buy that new sofa 3 years from now, right? When the truck's available, it's yours, all right? You get the added value of the team, right, which makes a smoother transaction. Additionally, you get the love it or leave it guarantee, and let me show you what this is. See, the love it or leave it guarantee is a guarantee that you guys receive, saying that if you're not fully satisfied with your property at any time, 6 months after, up to 6 months after you purchase it, well, we're going to sell it for you for free. All right. Now, the caveats are, of course, you have to pay the other agent's commission, and you get to buy your next home from me. Won't that be great?
Certainly.
All right,
Let's
perfect.
hope we don't need to use that one
Exactly,
now.
exactly.
No doubt, no doubt. So Customer appreciation functions, you know, we do things from renting out the entire movie theater and buying you guys a movie on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, isn't that fun? To our big holiday event that we do where it's a lot of fun for everybody involved. We have face painters and Santa Claus and live band, and we buy you dinner. And, you know, I was shocked to see how many people showed up for this thing. We usually have about 350 people every year, year after year, that show up for this. So it's a great networking opportunity for you, right? And get your name out there. So I encourage you guys to attend those things with us. You know, we can also get you discounts on carpet, appliances, tile, just because we have so many past clients that are going to, you know, discount their services just for our clients. Also, the convenience of one-stop shopping. You know, the title company's right down the hall, the lender's right down the hall. You don't have to be driving all over town in order to make this transaction happen, right?
That's good.
Now, with all of that extra and added value, I'm certain that what's going through your mind right now is, well, how much is this going to cost me, right? Well, the bottom line is, guys, take a look at the screen. It's absolutely free to you. The only thing that I request is that I have the opportunity to negotiate on your behalf, and of course, what that requires is a buyer agency agreement. So what do you guys think? Can I be your real estate broker?
Absolutely. We want you to negotiate on our
Yes.
behalf.
Perfect. All right, well, let's go through the buyer agency contract then. Now, at this point, the presentation is pretty much over with exception to the needs analysis. See, these buyers are now educated. They understand how to be a good buyer. They understand that signing the buyer agency is a benefit to them instead of a benefit to me as the real estate broker, because the bottom line is, with that tool in place, you have the right to negotiate on their behalf and get them the very best deal. Now, when you accomplish that, they're going to send you multiple referrals. Now, additionally, inside the workbooklet, there's additional pages. For example, taking notes on the homes that you see. Now, this allows them not to become confused, right? And ideally, you're only showing them 5 homes before they find the right one. Now, I brought that up earlier. Here's what happens. When they get inside the 6th property, the 7th property, the 8th property, and they still haven't found the right home, they honestly begin to apologize to you and say, Sean, we're ruining your averages. And you just simply say, well, that's okay, you guys. You can make it up to me, though. You can send me a referral or 2. So the expectation has been set. The future pacing has been completed. Additionally, inside the workbooklet, you're going to have a page that outlines, let's adhere to this plan so that we can secure your dream home quickly. And this is a fill-in-the-blank portion where they fill in the blanks of the dates and deadlines of the contract. They just simply tear it out of the book and put it on their refrigerator, and this eliminates a lot of unnecessary phone calls coming into your office. In addition to that, becoming pre-approved should be another page that you have in the workbooklet that outlines everything that you need to provide to the lender to have your financing in place. All right, now they've signed the buyer agency contract. You may choose to show them homes right then and there, or you may choose to reschedule an appointment. The bottom line is, though, guys, you now have a buyer agency contract in place. You wouldn't go out and list somebody's home without a listing contract in place. So follow the system, get the buyer agency contract signed, and find them a home.